if Israel is giving United States a lot of leverage, well, United States is giving Israel a lot of leverage as well, right? So the relationship is goes both ways. Mm,
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
do, yeah, and you're right. When it comes to China, United States will also use its allies like Japan, Vietnam, Philippines, South Korea, Australia. There's a lot of allies there when it comes to containing the threat of China. However, none of them come even close to
No.
what
Yeah, you
Israel
have
is
to do it.
capable
Yep.
of doing, right? Like Israel's military abilities is um on a different level. Like no country has eliminated America's enemies more than Israel, right? No country. So it's like calling it, so it's yeah, so it's an ally like no other. I do agree that getting rid of the Islamic Republic, it makes a lot of sense before this Cold War between United States and China is about to start. We're entering in we're rapidly moving to this phase of world history where it's going to become obvious that basically United States and China are on a major competition for dominance over energy and rare earth metals and trade routes and strategically military locations. And
Mm.
unlike many things in economics, this is a winner take all zero sum game, a competition between China and United States. And given that China's dominance over rare earth metals, United States has to have as much dominance over energy in this new era
Yeah.
of AI and technology that we're getting in. So it makes sense for oil rich countries to most of them to be US allies before we enter this phase of world history. And Iran being a playground for China and Russia would put the United States at a serious disadvantage entering this new phase. So it was absolutely necessary for Iran to become a US ally before we enter this
Yeah.
phase. It gives the United States a lot of a huge upper hand once we enter that phase. So that's why it was very important for us to do this.
Yeah, no, that's great analysis. And the funny thing is, one of the most, revealing subplots of this whole situation is just, Russia recently signed a strategic partnership with Iran, I believe in January last year. And then China and when the missiles drop, basically just pin drop silence. Right. And I think that even BRICS, this war even made BRICS completely irrelevant as a whole.
Wait, was BRICS relevant at some point? Okay. Oh,
It
sorry.
was that it was the way that Trump is playing this. He's looking at it from a Chinese hegemony. He's trying to disrupt the
Right.
Chinese hegemony, right? That's where his mindset is. So he just wants to
Okay.
dismantle as much as he can. But when you think of it from this perspective, a lot of like chips kind of fall into place. So it's not like Netanyahu would dragged Trump into this war. I don't think that that's an accurate assessment. Because a lot of
Yes,
people
yes,
on the
yes.
social media are saying it, and it's kind of like it's like childish thinking. Like,
Yes, yes. No, the reason why a lot of people on social media are talking about, so the information that is coming out shows that apparently President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu were on the same page for a long time now, and apparently a lot of the disagreements was just for show to confuse the Islamic Republic, right? So it seemed like they were completely on the same page. The information that the social media is running with regards to like, oh, Israel is dragging us United States into this war is something Marco Rubio and some other people said regarding an information that made Israel want to attack earlier, and then Americans had to get involved earlier because Israel had to get involved earlier. And a lot of like people like Cenk Uygur and Anna Kasparian and people like that are like, oh, see, we told you Israel dragged us into this war. But they're not realizing is that what happened was it changed the date of the military operation from, I don't know, from a Sunday into a Friday. Like it just moved it by a couple of days. The military operation was already a plan to go, like they already, like both United States and Israel had already planned this a long time ahead. Apparently, they had planned this even before their Lion and Thunder revolution. They had this plan to do this way like a long time ago, like a couple of months ago. The only thing that changed because of what Israel had to do, because of the information that they got, was basically change the date of the military operations just by a few days. And so that made the Americans also have to enter the military operations a couple of days earlier. That's what's happening. But they're pretending that that shows that the entire military operation is because of Israel, which is, I mean, these people would always say that anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah. Anyways, let's move to the
Thank you
next
for that.
person because I have only 10 minutes. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Great questions, by the way.
Okay, Shadi, are you back and ready with us? Okay, let's do Eric and then we'll give time for Shadi to answer in the chat.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Cool. Hello, how are you? So, Jonathan Larson of the Young Turks posted a fine piece a couple of days ago. He was basically saying that US troops were told Iran war is for the Armageddon and the return of Jesus. So basically, they are trying to spin this as some sort of religious war from the US and from Peter Hegseth, I think was the main character they were accusing. So my question is, do you think this will have any impact in like the public discourse in the US, or is this totally irrelevant? The reason I'm asking is because I've seen a couple of articles in Europe from some larger news outlets that are running this story.
Well, I mean, it's hard to tell what the public would what resonates with the public ahead of time. Usually, you have to observe it until you see what happens. But honestly, I think that I think the number one way for people the isolationists in the United States to try to stop this military operation against the Islamic Republic is to focus on the conspiracy theory, the lie that Israel is dragging America into a war. I think that's what would work the best right now in the United States, given a lot of people with the conspiracy theory that Epstein was part of, Israeli agent, and United States is being ruled by Israelis through people like Epstein, and they even have a name for it, like the Epstein government, like Epstein class
Yeah.
government, they call it. So this whole Jew hatred and suggesting that the Jews are controlling America and we're at war with the Islamic Republic because the Jews have decided this. I mean, they won't say Jews, they will say Israelis, but you know what they mean. This is right now the best card that they have to play to try to get more Americans, especially after the Epstein files, and many Americans thinking that, oh, this is Israel, and hating on all politicians because of Epstein. This is going to be, if you're trying to attack President Trump, given that they think that he's also for part of the Epstein operation, and he's also a child molester, even though they have no evidence for that. They just hate all these politicians, and they think they're all dirty, and they're all part of this vague, confusing Jewish conspiracy theories that politicians are just a whole bunch of people that are being controlled by these Jews at the top, using, I don't know, a bunch of pedophiles being managed by Jews because the Jews have some videos, incriminating videos of them. This is right now, especially among a lot of young people in America. This is what they think. And so, just, I mean, some people believe in different versions of this, or some people, there's like this a spectrum. Trump is basically a puppet of the Zionist Jews, and he's not really representing the American people, he's representing Israel. That's the number one way to try to convince Americans to be anti-Trump, Trump and to try to take away President Trump's political capital for him to continue this operation. And guys, by the way, the people who believe this stuff, they're so cuckoo that if you want to tell them like this is a conspiracy theory, it doesn't really work like that. But if you want to, if you want to try to address these people, telling that their beliefs about Epstein or Jews or Israel is wrong is not very effective, because if you tell people that they're wrong, they become defensive. In my opinion, focusing on how evil the Islamic Republic is and how anti-American they are is the best response, is the best way to try to get these people, some of these people on our side, rather than telling them how wrong they are about Epstein and Israelis. You could show them their ideology, like their videos from Iran regarding what their agenda is. They're completely transparent about it. So focusing on the fact that these are anti-American people, that their eventual goal is to destroy America, and this is actually, and instead of telling them that they were getting atomic bombs, because every time you say that they're like, oh, they said that about Saddam, focusing on the fact that they actually have already killed many Americans, and demonstrating that they have killed Americans, that might actually work better in our favor than trying to tell people why they're wrong. Okay, so just wanted to point out one thing before I go. Great timing, by the way. I am okay. So here's this. Notice how there is not there's not protests in favor of the Islamic Republic right now, right? So this is really good. Like, so if this was Gaza, right now the streets would be filled with people protesting, free Palestine kind of nonsense in the streets, right? One thing that the Iranian people, I just want to give credit to the Iranian people. So let me actually give full context, right? So right now the Islamic Republic is being attacked, and many people around the world are condemning it, but you don't see university campuses being filled with protests. You don't see people come out into the streets in the same way that they will come out for Gaza, waving the terrorist Palestinian flag, saying free Palestine. You don't see those same people in mass coming out and waving the Islamic Republic flag and supporting the mullahs, even though Israel is involved, and these people who are anti-Israeli, they are, they're condemning Israel on social media. There's not that much of a force, in response to that. There's not that much of a backlash. So if Israel was attacking Gaza, the backlash in the streets and on campuses would be so much more significant than when they're fighting the Islamic Republic. And there's many different reasons for this, in my opinion, but one of the reasons I think is the Iranian people did a really good job communicating how evil the ayatollahs are to the world, to the point that is undeniable, right? So when it comes to Gaza, many the people like, the understanding is that many people around the world, like, their conspiracy theory is that, oh, Israel is doing genocide, Israel is evil, the Palestinian people are good, they're the victims, they're being oppressed by Israel, and the bad evil Israel is oppressing them and killing them, right? But when it comes to, so that's why so many people will get motivated to come out and basically try to defend the so-called Palestinians, right? But when it comes to the Ayatollahs, the Islamic Republic and IRGC, the Iranian people were, in the past couple of years, did a really good job communicating to the world that these people are evil, right? So as much as people who hate Israel would want to come out and protest against this, they can't, because they don't want to be seen as supporting the Ayatollahs, right? Because they see them as oppressors as well against the Iranian people, right? So they're like, when they want to, they still focus more on attacking Israel. Like, even though the mullahs killed, like the Islamic Republic killed tens of thousands of Iranian peoples in a much less time that it took the people in Gaza to get up to that numbers, but they point to that, but they still focus more of their attention and time condemning Israel. But at least the fact that the world has accepted that the Islamic Republic is evil, most people around the world have accepted that, means that they will not dare come out and support the Islamic Republic waving the Islamic Republic flag. I mean, not at least not in the numbers that we see for Gaza. And I just wanted to point that out as a win for the Iranian people and how effective their presence has been all around the world. So just as a major credit to the Iranian people for achieving that. I just wanted to say that. All right, guys. So I'm gonna stop the recording.
If you
Right?
don't mind, Armin, can I do a very quick last question from Sapir? She's been back and forth in the shelter and she had a quick question for you.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do that.
There are way more missiles being sent to the UAE than any other country. Basically,
Mhm.
almost twice as many as are being sent into Israel. What do you think about that?
Okay, so first of all, so why is the Islamic Republic attacking the UAE right now much more than they attacking Israel? Okay, there's multiple reasons in my opinion. First of all, why even attack Israel right now? Like, what is even the point? Right. So I mean, Israel is in it. Everybody understands that they're not going to back down, and they're for full-on regime change, and missiles being sent at Israel is not going to deter them. But right now things are, the Islamic Republic is really desperate, really desperate to stop this military operation. So it needs to put maximum pressure on President Trump to stop this military operation. Attacking Israel does not achieve that goal. What do you think is going to happen? Like, Israel is going to go to America and say, like, let's stop this military operation because I'm getting attacked by missiles? Like, so honestly, any missile being thrown in Israel, in my opinion, is a waste of a missile. In fact, if I was at the Islamic Republic, I would identify the most vulnerable countries that have the highest influence in Washington D.C. Right? Obviously, like, if I was the Islamic Republic, I would say, like, okay, my missiles being thrown at the UAE are doing more damage than any missile that I hit sent towards Israel. Israel has a much stronger defense system than the UAE, and UAE is a rich, powerful country with a lot of influence inside Washington D.C. So hopefully, I could get them to ask President Trump to stop this. I mean, the Saudis are now all in on regime change, so that's not going to help as much. So maybe the UAE would be the best option for me to pressure. Is hitting target, like, is doing damage, and UAE is very sensitive. By the way, the entire economic model of UAE has been broken. The reason why you see UAE is so rich is because they sold themselves as the stable country in the Middle East. So all of that oil and gas investment that has to go somewhere, a lot of it has to go to UAE because everywhere else is too chaotic and unsafe for investment. That's why UAE, you see all of those sky rises and everything that you see in UAE that impresses you is because of that. So just even a single missile, the first missile that landed in the UAE basically destroyed that entire narrative, let alone the fact that they're constantly being bombarded. Like, this is hell for the UAE. Like, this is like a nightmare. So you can imagine that from the Islamic Republic perspective, is like, okay, these people are the least tolerant of this continuing. So maybe we could get them to get Trump to stop, because we know that they have investments with Jared Kushner and Witkoff, and they have investments here. So maybe they will use them as a leverage against Washington D.C. It's not working, but you can see how desperate they are. So that, I mean, they're going with other countries as well. Like, they just had Azerbaijan as well, which, I mean, so Azerbaijan was on my list. So I expected this to happen, but they hadn't attacked Azerbaijan for a while. But now Azerbaijan is attacked as well. I don't know if there's any country in the region that they haven't attacked. Maybe have they hit Armenia? I think Armenia. I don't know, but I mean, yeah, they haven't hit Pakistan and Afghanistan, but that's not going to do them any favor. Like, they have no leverage in. We had a list of 11 countries that need to be protected, and all of the countries on that list have been targeted. All of the countries on the list, but they have actually attacked 13 countries, so two that we didn't have on our list. So they're just trying to see where they could do the maximum damage, and Israel is not the place that they could do maximum damage. So, by the way, every missile that they're throwing at somewhere else that is not Israel is, I mean, a missile that is not coming towards you. So the fact that it's being spread across different countries, that means that Israelis are a lot safer compared to a situation where they wanted to focus all their firepower on Israel, because this is only a tactic that you would use when you're so close to a complete collapse. It wouldn't make any sense. Like, it wouldn't make sense to use this, because, guys, imagine if you were thinking about the day after the military operation, then you wouldn't do any of this. The only reason why you would do all of this is because you really think that there might not be a day after these military operations for you. Nobody would nobody would destroy all the relationships with every single country unless they think, well, it doesn't really matter because we're not going to be around to see it if we don't do this.
We are winning.